hackathon project. I'm Cedric Evans, and I'll be showcasing how I created a demo for the Go Anywhere project. This is the demo that I showcased a couple of weeks ago, and it basically shows the user interacting with a Figma prototype. And in this prototype, I'm demoing how we could show drag and drop. So this is the Go Anywhere product. And now I'm going to show you how to recreate that using some um, North Star components. And this is from the pattern library. So I grabbed this. This is already existing, added a couple of panels on cards, and I'm going to demo how show how I created that drag and drop effect. Um, and I'm going to animate the tiles, and I'm going to move this card tile from left to right, and then back over from right to left using drag and drop. Uh, Dive into it. In order to do this effect, we're going to create three different panels to go from left to right, and then we're going to create one panel to move to animate the card, interact with the card on the final, moving the card card one back over to the original state. Within Figma, we have a drag event that we're going to use. We have a time delay, and then we have the smart animation. And so right now I'm just going to duplicate this intro layer and create an animated layer, and then the final. So duplicate. Um, I'm going to my animated layer, my animate layer, and then so this middle layer is going to be where all of the movement happens, or all the animation happens, or the interaction. So I'm going to move this panel from left to right. It's going to replace the card two, and then simultaneously move the card two back into place. Um, So this drag feature is created when the user selects the card one and then moves it to the right. So the interaction is between this card and this screen. So what I want to do is move the card panel uh, in position. I'm manually moving over from left. And I want to show how it looks when the user drags from left to right. Um, with drag and drop, if it's moving it into one place, then we're going to show the card that's replacing sliding in the opposite direction. So basically, we're taking card one, title one, and then we're moving it over top of two, and then we're going to move the two back over under the one. And that's what this is representing. So we're going from this um, initial screen to the animated screen, and then we're going from the animated screen into the final screen. So in order to trigger this movement, or in order to activate this movement, um, to give this card some instructions. So we want to say on drag, and it's set to on click, but we want to say on drag, we want to animate this tile into this position. So we want to make this tile look like it's moving. In order to do that, we do on drag, and then we're going to go choose smart animate. Make sure we have smart animate selected, because it's going to give us that dynamic movement. So we want to say navigate. So on drag, we want to navigate to this panel. So let's see what we have so far. So on drag, there we go. So yeah, on drag, we're moving the tile one to the right, and you saw that movement where we manually move card two underneath card one. Now it's in position. Well, it's in the position that we have. It's in the animated state, but we need to get from the animated state to the final state. So we've gone through file from left to right. It's now in the animated state, but we need to get it to the final state. And in order to do that, we're going to animate the whole layer, but we're going to do that with the time delay feature that Figma has. So to go from the animate layer to the final, we simply add an event, the after delay event, and we're going to choose 1 millisecond. And so what happens is this animate event goes to the final state, and the final state we need to move the tiles into place. So we're going to take the card tile one or two to the um, final state. So this shows us going from, all right, get that wrong. Sorry, we need to have tile two place. So we're going from card tile one to two. This animated layer shows the user dragging from left to right. Um, and this is the final state. So now we take the animated layer and we give it delay. So after 1 millisecond, we're going to go from this animated layer to the final. So we go from card one, move this animated layer, and then the final. So let's give this a twirl. All right. So we have one, this is the animated layer, and that's the final layer. So that millisecond in that represents the moving from the animate layer, that 1 millisecond delay, to the final layer. There we go. So we go from the initial state to the animate state, and then from this state, we use the animate layer to get us into place. We need to take this final card and move it back final state and get us back to the initial. And so in order to do that, uh, let's duplicate this final layer. I'm going to name it card two. This is my card two animation layer. And so this layer is going to show same thing. We're going to use the tile one to trigger the interaction. So it's on drag, smart animate, duration is cool. And so once we get to this animate state, we need to create another interaction, and we're going to choose after. This is the time delay. We're going to do 1 millisecond here as well. So we're going from this final state to the animated state back to the original. So let's see what it looks like from here. This is the card towel moving from to right. It's already in the what I call final state now. I'm moving it back over from right to left. There we go. So once we move it over to that second card animate state, it originally moves back, or it moves back to the original state, which is that first tile. So right now we're in that first intro tile. We're back at the final and then back to the intro. And there you go. Intro state to the animate, animate to final, final state back to the card two animated state, and then back to one. This is just a high level way of doing drag and drop. Of course, you can add more interactions, a couple more panels, and you can show a user interacting with this drag and drop, going from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, moving back to 1. But this gives you an idea of how we can create animation, drag and drop animation, using the Figma time delay and drag and drop features. So that concludes my 2024 hack project. Thanks.